An attempt to assert authority over a child is relatively easier due to their lack of power. But the task becomes noticeably more difficult when attempting to manage a strong person. In its current situation, Brussels is trying to subdue not one but two strong men, but it only led to fluster. Hi and welcome to a fresh new episode of the New World Order with me, Atul Mishra. Let's begin. US and European countries have poured billions of dollars in aid and weapons to the war as a bait to instigate Russia. After Sweden and Finland ditched NATO, it is that in the army general. However, the puppet king, consumed by power and fear of these days haven't been very kind to the European Union. Firstly, their greatest economic juggernaut went into a deep recession. And to make matters worse, the 27-nation bloc is finding it hard to keep everyone on the same page. The common consensus that Russia is the root dude is still very hard to crack for Brussels, as many nations simply refuse to adhere to their orders. The best illustration of this defiance, Hungary within the European Union, concerns have been raised about Hungary and Russia's friendship. Due to Russia's dubious record regarding its assertive foreign policy, this close relationship has raised concerns among EU member states. Hungary's warm ties with Russia, particularly in the energy sector, have led to suspicions of undermining EU unity and solidarity. Even after the Ukraine war, Hungary stood unwavering in its support for Russia. This led tensions between Germany and Hungary to reach boiling point during a recent foreign ministers' meeting in Brussels, exposing a deepening divide within the EU. The conflict revolved around Hungary's largest private bank, OTP Bank, which has become entangled in the Russia-Ukraine war. The implications of this dispute are far-reaching and pose a significant threat to the unity and stability of the EU. Hungary, being Hungary, didn't back down from threats. Now the EU is planning to impose a trade embargo on countries that have been helping Moscow dodge sanctions. Ukraine has handed the EU a list of private companies involved. And to everyone's surprise, Greece has now thrown its weight behind Hungary, delivering a low blow to the EU. The EU's 11th package of sanctions on Russia has stalled due to opposition from Greece and Hungary, who want their companies removed from a list of war sponsors compiled by Kiev, according to a report by a leading American journal. Reportedly, 2 rounds of talks in Brussels ended without a deal in sight, as Kiev's infamous list of sanctions evaders and international sponsors of war proves to be the biggest obstacle. Greece is joined in the debate, stating that allegations of sanctions evasion could be very damaging to its economy. The Greek government emphasizes that concrete evidence of violation needs to be investigated first before any appropriate action is taken. This pushback from Greece over the sanctions is quite poetic. Greece has avoided confrontations with obvious retaliation for many years. This is the first time Greece has publicly backed other countries. Greece, which has only recently exited its debt cycle, is undeniably enraged at the EU's demands made of it during crisis. Additionally, Mitsotakis, the Greek Prime Minister, won the elections by an unexpectedly wide margin. Now that it is more powerful than ever, Greece glares angrily at the EU and openly declares that it will no longer allow Brussels to play with its sovereignty. EU's days of dictating and schooling allies are over. The EU is now facing the consequences of its internal divisions and the defiance of member states. As Hungary and Greece stand firm against the EU's actions, it's clear that Brussels is not the absolute force it once believed itself to be.